Okay, everybody, welcome back. Part 2 on our Trace Elliott amplifier. Last time we checked, the Celestion Vintage 30s were in no mood for dancing. These things have been absolutely toasted, and the cuckoo clock is reminding everybody of what the world thinks of me. And there goes my tall clock. Yes, I like mechanical clocks. Okay, so we have a Recone repair kit here. Let's see, they refer to it as CA repair kit. And it is a genuine Celestion for the vintage 3016 ohm. So that means if we do our job right, nobody's going to be none the wiser that we reconed this. Ha! So I suppose we should just get to work. I just want to see how completely and totally buggered this the voice coil is. Because we've already determined it's toast. And there is an absolutely roached voice coil. Yep, no chance for that one. So, taking the gaskets off, cleaning all this, stripping it down, and getting some shims in there and all that happy fun stuff that goes along with a reconing. Okay, so fast forward a day, and both of our speakers are reconed now. That's pretty cool. I think they turned out real well. They look nice. That's the using the drop-in recone kit from Celestion themselves. The glue we used was Service Speaker Cone Repair Service Cement by GC Electronics. I've had miscellaneous glues I've used over time. I've used a white glue that was okay, and then I used this one glue from the speaker foam replacement company, and that stuff like dried like lightning. This stuff seems to hold real well. It's not too bad to work with, but good grief does it dry slowly. Like on these edges, I mean, you put them down and clamp them and then come back like 2 hours later. And on these recone kits, the paper around here, you know, before the gasket, it was really kind of up curled, and getting it to all lay down and be nice was fine. But yeah, so our voice coils, after they got hot, the whole inside that tape stuff there just bubbled up like you wouldn't believe. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. No wonder these speakers were totally toast. But they're untoasted now. Yes, I did test them. They do work. And I did all the wire soldering and stuff. I'm sure somebody said, well, man, why didn't you film that? And believe me, if you want to see speaker reconing, YouTube is full of it. It is absolutely full of it. But drop-in recone kit gets a thumbs up, and yes, I would buy it again. This glue, yeah, I'm going to use the rest of it. I'm definitely not going to chuck it, but maybe cut the cure time in half, guys. That would be really cool. Make a fast cure version. Okay, kids, with the speakers done, we're going to go work on this board that we determined what was wrong with it a while back. One of our MOSFETs is shorted. It's actually this one. Despite the fact that the smoke and shmoo and stuff is up over here. I bought both of them. They are K1058 and J162. K1058 over here is the one that actually shorted, and I've got our heatsink compound, aka bird poop, to put on there, and then I've got the replacement resistors. I believe those are 220 ohm. I'm trying to jog my own memory because it took about a week to get this stuff. Thanks, post office. Okay, so this is the point where we're either going to find happiness or we're going to find sorrow. And so we got these transistors changed. The one was certainly shorted, and sometimes you can get false readings just doing diode checks on like JFETs and stuff like that. But I compared the old to the new, and this K, or no, this is the J. Where's the K? Oh crap, where did it go? It was here. Anyhow, there's rubber legs on there to prevent them from arcing to the heat sink, and this little transistor here, TR1, that's a JFET. That one tricked me with the diode tester. It gave me a beep like it was shorted, so I desoldered it and put it in the component tester and checked it, and it was okay. Crap, where did that other one go? But anyway, out of the two of these, one of these had a short, leg to leg. And you guys know the usual procedure. You test these like two diodes. Is it shorted this way? No. Is it shorted that way? No. Is it shorted across here? And if it is, you'll get the short beep, and then And that's what we had on our K over here. So I'm going to put some bird poop here on the bottom of the heatsink and get this back down and get the power lined up, and then we're going to bring this up nice and slow on a variac while watching for evil DC voltage. Okay, friends and neighbors, so we're back with this trace. I wanted to show you all the initial power up, but it wasn't too exciting. I had about a 0.5 volt DC on there, which obviously was not good, and I had a lot of distortion coming from the power amp. It would hum and buzz. So after changing these two MOSFETs, I ended up going back, and a lot of these transistors are discontinued. Like these MOSFETs, you got to buy like surplus stock on eBay. Good place to get ripped off. It looks like what we have works. So I had to go back, and I figured the driver transistors or something. I was talking with another technician. Shout out to Glass Monster for talking with me on this. But I went through and changed all of the other driver transistors. There's one that's a J112, which is still a production transformer, but BF423 and BF422 are discontinued, but I was able to find them, at a surplus supply house. And after changing all of those out, now the amp that drives the lower speakers works. It's expecting an 8 ohm load. That's what my salvage speaker there that we don't risk blowing up is using, and it's putting out, as far as DC goes, it's less than a 1/10 of a volt. It's very, very nice and stable, so that's good. It does work. It's not making the horrible distortion. I would have thought it would be a bit louder, but that's an inefficient speaker as opposed to the Celestians that are in here, which are efficient, and there's going to be 2 of them. So the volume imbalance is more likely down to the speakers. Earlier in this adventure, off camera, the foot pedal here for this was pretty wrecked, and so I took that apart and repaired it. And as far as let's get a little bit of buzzy noise going here. There we go. The chorus module of it actually works just fine. There's a chorusy buzz, but the reverby module, it's got a bunch of different clicky programs here, and then that's supposed to set your level. I can't tell that it's reverbing, so that sucks, but I'm going to let this tick and cook for another hour or so. I'm just going to play some music through it or a little something, just at a low level, just to, let that amp cook for a little while, and then make sure it doesn't go totally out of balance and kablooey and bad things. And then I suppose we're going to have a part 3 perhaps to get the reverb working, if in fact the reverb isn't working. If the reverb is working, just look in the comments section and I'll be like, oops, sorry, couldn't tell with my poking my finger on the tip. I will plug a guitar into this and I will actually see how it sounds eventually, but I'm satisfied with the progress. This being a MOSFET amp, it's a little goofy, and they can just be goofy, but it was the 90s. I have a more modern, this is actually the next thing on the bench, that's a Fender Frontman 212R or whatever, and that's got a similar issue, but that is not MOSFETs, that one is BJTs, so waiting on parts, and then we'll be benching that. That's a whole nother story, but it's got a very similar story, whereas the output stage went kablooey and took both speakers with it. In the case of the Fender, it had just stock generic Fender speakers in it, so it's going to be getting a something else for a speaker. You know, I would try to keep that one, but this puppy, I've got the original speakers reconed for it, so we're going to give it some time to cook, and we're going to make sure that it's safe to hook up the original speakers before we do so. Alright, we'll see you in a part 3 if there needs to be one. Okay, so in the process of trying to figure out if the reverb worked, I decided to look in that service manual that I bought. And to make it work, you have to pull the knob out on your stage so you can turn the reverb on in one stage and not in the other. So until you pull that knob out, the reverb doesn't work. But when you do, it does. So yeah, I guess we can button this up and give it a test. We'll do that in another video because I'm still going to let this cook for a while, but we'll give it a final test before it walks out the door. Cool, I'm happier. Okay, let's take this for a spin. I haven't taken a lot of time to really try and dial in the perfect tone, but just to verify everything's working, it's doing that. Add some reverb. And some chorus. Okay, so it's alive, and mighty hot amplifier. I mean, obviously there's tons and tons of amplification in there. I'm in the low gain side of things because this is an active guitar with electronicals on it. But yeah, I mean, I'm satisfied. I think it's doing what it's supposed to do, and hooray for that. So I don't think there's anything more to see here. Both 100-watt amps that drive the 4 and the 100 watts that drive the 2 down there are fixed. The one up top was still working fine. The one at the bottom needed some significant surgery, and it's gotten that. And we had to recone the speakers because of the damage. And I tried to cook this for a while and let it run and make sure it's not going to do it again. And I can't guarantee it's not going to do it again, but I don't think it's going to do it again anytime soon. I mean, it waited, shoot, this is what, from 1995? So it waited a while anyway. Yeah, it waited like 25 years. So our foot pedal was pretty demolished, and I've gotten that repaired. The original LEDs were red. I did replace them with the blue ones. Not because they're necessarily way more visually appealing, but it's more so what I had. And the original ones were really tiny and really dull, so I wanted something a little bit brighter. You know, I hope Buddy doesn't hate the blue LEDs. That's all I can say about that. But yeah, it's a successful fix. So hooray for that. Um, I should be over the moon because I mean this thing sounds great, it's working great, but solid state amps always sort of give me the willies, just because there is not an output transformer. So if this thing throws itself out of balance, you just run the risk of the speakers going kablooey again, and that's that's a lot of work and that's a lot of concern. But again, we fixed it right. I tried to prevent any possible thing that threw it out of balance before has been replaced. I mean, we're running almost kind of a very new-ish amplifier circuit. I just totally rebuilt that side. So if any of those transistors was wonky, now it's replaced. So I think we're good. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Really cool acoustic amp. But it's solid state, and solid state is solid state. You know. Love the performance per weight, but I don't know, man. MOSFETs make me nervous. Have a great day.